Late afternoon light fades as the crickets start to hum in the long grass. A stray balloon drifts toward the silhouette of an abandoned estate, its path fixed toward the rusted iron gates. Tethered to the balloon's string is a blueprint of gears and levers. This diagram provides the only physical link to the mechanical groans often heard coming from within the mansion walls. Filmmakers use a technique called the subtle dolly to create immediate unease. As the children step forward, the camera moves backward at a slower pace. This visual disconnect signals that they have left the safety of the sidewalk for dangerous, unknown territory. The wrought iron gates act as a strict physical boundary. On one side lies the familiar, predictable neighborhood. On the other, a structure draped in deep, heavy shadow. Primal instinct usually forces us away from dark, unfamiliar spaces. However, the specific mechanical curiosity promised by the blueprint exerts a stronger pull. The children push through the front doors to find a source of the drawings. The heavy oak doors swing shut, cutting off the sounds of the outside world. The interior is a vacuum of silence, isolating the children within the grand foyer. The house immediately produces a chorus of groans. The tension of old ropes, the friction of rusted iron hinges, and the settling of heavy floorboards create a series of squeaks and rhythmic thumps. These acoustic properties mimic the sound of heavy footsteps, making a vacant structure sound inhabited. Looking down the main corridor, the children face a wall of darkness. Framing a subject with a massive void of empty space in front of them triggers a specific psychological reaction. The brain begins to anticipate a threat emerging from the nothingness. A camera pushing slowly down a lightless hallway replicates the point of view of a predator, forcing the audience to scan the edges for movement. They look to the blueprint for direction. It bypasses traditional room labels, using instead a series of weathered, hand-drawn symbols representing internal mechanical components. These symbols provide a logical path through the pitch-black corridors. By focusing on the physical location of the gears and levers indicated on the page, they navigate the sensory deprivation of the house. The environment weaponizes human senses through empty space and echoing sound. It demonstrates how fear is often manufactured by the brain's attempt to fill a void where no actual threat exists. At the far end of the hallway, a saturated red light spills from the gap beneath the heavy door. Monochromatic red lighting deprives the eye of other colors, triggering a biological feeling of impending danger. It is a visual cue that suggests the path ahead is no longer safe. A low light source casts elongating, distorted shadows up the walls. These high-contrast shapes transform the children's own silhouettes into looming, unrecognizable figures. A specialized brass winding key sits on the floorboards near the door. Its intricate teeth match the final, most complex symbol on the blueprint. As they turn the key, the heavy internal lock yields with a metallic thud. The door swings wide, flooding the corridor with light. Confronting the source of a perceived threat provides the only way to dismantle an illusion. Stepping into the light replaces imagined horrors with the physical reality of the room. Struck with wonder, massive theatrical spotlights wash a grand stage in red, illuminating a vast workshop. Hundreds of wooden figures and clockwork mechanisms sit under a layer of dust, waiting for movement. Turning the key engages the master gear system. A driving gear rotates, interlocking with a larger wheel beneath the floorboards. Kinetic energy transfers through a pulley network, driving a tension belt over a spinning wheel, distributing power across the stage. This reveals the internal engineering of a wooden lion automaton. It is a precise skeleton of metal rods and a mesh chassis. The central rod's rotation translates into a walking motion, pulling the metal rods to force a lifelike stride. Automata like the Rider have existed for centuries. These machines use complex clockwork, cams, and levers to mimic human behavior, creating wonder rather than fear. The chain reaction concludes with this multi-tiered wooden carousel. It represents the transformation of potential energy into kinetic joy as the entire workshop begins spinning. The mansion functions as a dormant engine of wonder. Every shadow and groan was the byproduct of a beautiful machine waiting for a spark of curiosity to bring it back to life.